What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into the Barbs Breakdown. My name is Josh Barbara. The San Antonio Spurs have officially advanced to the NBA Finals with a 111-103 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. They'll be playing against the New York Knicks. That game, first game of the NBA Finals, will be taking place on June 3rd. I'll have an NBA Finals preview coming out, but first, we got to break down Game 7, what happened, what went wrong for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and what went right for the San Antonio Spurs. On top of that, A.J. Brown, within the next 24 to 48 hours, could be a New England Patriot. We're going to touch on that as well, but I don't want to do any speculating as the league calendar opens for trades starting tomorrow, June 1st. All right, so first up on the docket today is going to be the fact that the Spurs have advanced to the NBA Finals. They are the Western Conference champions, taking down the defending NBA champions in the Oklahoma City Thunder, 111-103 last night, in what was a thrilling matchup. Both stars on display, Victor Wembanyama and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for their respective teams. We'll get into that Game 7 reaction in a little bit, but there's a couple, facts and tidbits that I want to talk about here relating to the Spurs making it to the Finals. First off, it's a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals between the Spurs and the Knicks, which is ironically the last time that the Knicks were even in this position to have a chance to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy in a best-of-7 series. De'Aaron Fox was the only Spurs starter alive at the time of that series. He was only 1 year old. Both teams have played each other 3 times this season. The Knicks have won 2 of the 3, including one of those games being in the NBA Cup final during the regular season. Adam Silver is so happy right now, man, because he's just saying, look, everybody, look. The NBA Cup is actually what it was meant to be, and it actually matters because it gave us a preview of what the finals was going to be. No, Wemby was still on a minutes restriction. The Knicks were not nearly the team that they are now. Both of these teams weren't the teams that they are now, and that's how it's supposed to be. It was the middle of the regular season, and as I just mentioned, Wemby was still on a minutes restriction. I'm interested to see how this goes, but they did meet in March. Brunson dropped 61 points on 53% shooting from the field in that last game, and then after that, Wemby threw the ball into the crowd, so Brunson couldn't have it. So there's already a little bit of lingering beef there between these two teams. Lastly, congratulations to Jeremy Sohan. I just hit my mic. Congratulations, sir. He's winning a ring no matter what. He was on the Spurs earlier this year. The Knicks picked him up off of waivers a couple months back. And now those two teams are playing in the finals. So congratulations, sir. You're an NBA champion no matter what. May not even touch the floor. Hopefully he does. And I'm going to save that for the NBA Finals. I'm going to save what I was going to say. For the NBA Finals preview coming out on Tuesday. But the Knicks have a secret weapon, and you probably already know it because you're seeing it all over Twitter. Might as well say it. The Knicks have Jeremy Sohan. That's the secret weapon. He knows the Spurs organization inside and out. Maybe you could say, oh, well, it was a different team when he was there. Yes, but at the same time, he was just on that team 3 months ago. Just with them. So he's going to be the ace in the hole. Shout out to Leon Rose. But let's get into this Game 7 reaction. All right, so what was my reaction to Game 7? Well, I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun from the opening tip. Obviously, Wemby set the tone early on when he absolutely caught a body on Chet yesterday. It was incredible. Just the hatred that Wemby has. It feels like it's like one-sided hatred almost because Wemby's, obviously got the hatred, and then Chet's just kind of like, all right, man, I'm just playing basketball, because he's tall. Wemby hates this guy. He put that on display yesterday. But let's talk about Chet Holmgren for a second. I'm going to start with the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll break it down by team. I took some notes. First things first, the Thunder had never lost a Game 7 on home court until last night. They were 4-0 in Game 7s on home court. Never lost. LeVar Ball, never lost. They were 4-0. Now they're 4-1. So that's the first thing. That's already adding to the mythos of Victor Wembanyama. Moving on here. The Thunder had 37 consecutive playoff games without back-to-back losses. They had 10 straight wins following a loss in the playoffs. Snapped last night. SGA last night proved why he was the back-to-back MVP of the league. 35 points, 9 assists. The other 4 starters combined for the Oklahoma City Thunder had 31 points. Cason Wallace had 17. So if you're doing quick maths right there, 52 points for Cason Wallace and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Rest of the team, 14. Or starters, I should say. Rest of the starters, 14. That's it. So, obviously, J-Dub being out, AJ Mitchell being out, we knew that was going to hurt the Thunder. I said that yesterday. I said it in yesterday's podcast. You knew that was going to hurt the Thunder. But you didn't think that Chet was going to only score 4 points on 2 shots from the field. He was 1 of 2. In 33 minutes played, by the way. In a Game 7. On your home court. And then on top of that, you're an All-NBA third-teamer. $234 million contract. And you were a living lamppost. That's what Chet was. He was a living lamppost last night. It felt like the whole series. He didn't have a good series at all. But last night was a cream of the crop terrible performance. That's a top 5 bad playoff performance to my memory. You only had 2 shots in the entire game. Both were in the first quarter. Essentially, we're looking at Tony Snell numbers here. When you factor in the fact that this guy's supposed to be that third star with J-Dub and Shai. Just putting that out there. OKC's depth did not step up at all. And I got the box score right in front of me here, so I'm going to go to it. I got the box score right here. Let's go. Isaiah Hartenstein, 21 minutes, 7 points. Chet, we already talked about that, 33 minutes, 4 points. Shai in 43 minutes at 35 proved why he was the back-to-back MVP. Had a fantastic game. Lou Dort had 3 points, and I watched it. It was a 3-pointer. It was a clutch 3-pointer at the time. Thunder were making a little bit of a comeback, but we'll get into this a little bit more when I break down the Spurs and how they defensively wore down Oklahoma City. But every single time OKC was making a little bit of a run and you thought that they were going to creep their way back into this one, the Spurs made a defensive play to completely stop them in their tracks, and you could see it. Cason Wallace had 17. Jalen Williams, the other Jalen Williams, number 6 on the Thunder, he had 11 points, 5 of 9 from the field. He showed up. He played his role. That's what you're supposed to get from him. Alex Caruso, in 39 minutes, 12 points. There's your issue. There's your issue. You needed a big Caruso game. You needed a big game out of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, which did not happen, and either Alex Caruso, a mix of Alex Caruso and another bench player. That's what you needed, and you didn't get it. If Caruso has, let's say, also Jared McCain didn't really show. He had 12 points, which good for him. Good for him. He did not necessarily show up last night. 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. Rough showing for the Thunder. Very rough showing for the Thunder. People are already putting Chet, back to him real quick. People are already putting him in like trade talks for Giannis. So that could be something to keep an eye out for. But last night was OKC's first time trailing in the first quarter of the entire postseason. And that's just a testament to the Spurs defense and their ability. I've never seen a team necessarily, and I hate saying this in sports where it's like, oh, you could turn it on and turn it off. The Spurs just have something, man, where they could just, if they feel their backs against the wall, they could turn it on and they could go all 4 quarters. I'll leave that for the Spurs breakdown. I'm going to talk about SGA a little bit, though, because I've been saying he deserved, he has the deserved back-to-back MVPs in my eyes at this point because of what happened last night. 35 points, only going to the free throw line 5 times. He was 9 of 11 from the free throw line. So for anybody being like, oh, free throw merchant, not last night, and he still had 35. He had his best game of the series easily, his first time shooting over 50% in this Western Conference Finals from the field. He scored or assisted on 18 of the Thunder's 28 points in the second quarter. He was involved with 64% of their scoring plays in the second quarter. He had a fantastic game, nothing to hang his head about. Absolutely nothing. Great game from SGA. Fantastic game from SGA. That's what you need. 35 points, 9 assists, a couple rebounds sprinkled in there. He had the mid-range game going. He had the three-point game going. Those are all things that I said in the podcast yesterday. He's not necessarily known to be a three-point shooter or three-point scorer. But yesterday, when they needed it, he came alive. Hit 2 big threes, and that's all he needs. If he could hit 2 big clutch threes, it won't matter how many he missed. Granted, he was 2 of 5, but those 2 threes came in clutch moments. He was 12 of 21 from the field as a whole. That's the way he is expected to shoot night in and night out, and it's because that is the precedent that he set during the regular season for himself. So overall, bad series for his standard that he has set for himself. But Game 7 last night, in what was quote-unquote the biggest game of his career, which he said himself, fantastic game from SGA. Great game. Lastly, as far as the Thunder goes, want to touch on Cason Wallace really quick. Great shooting night for him. Great shooting night for Cason Wallace. 6 of 10 from the field as a whole, 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. He did his job. 17 points in 36 minutes. He had 7 rebounds and 4 assists to go along with it. 2 steals and a block. That's good job, Cason. That's what you needed to do. You needed that, and you needed a little more from Caruso. Maybe a little more from McCann as well, because those guys both only dropped 12. All right, let's get right into it with the Spurs here. First things first, they are the 9th team in NBA history to have 7 players with 10-plus points in a Game 7. Those 7 players are Victor Wembanyama with 22 points, Julian Champagnie with 20. He was 6 of 10 from the three-point line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal as well. He was a plus 16 on the night. 5 defensive rebounds for him. He was probably the biggest X factor last night. His performance is really what pushed the Spurs over the hump. De'Aaron Fox had 15 points. Devin Vassell with 11. Stephon Castle with 16. To the bench here, Dylan Harper with 12. Keldon Johnson with 11. And those are the 7 guys for the Spurs that scored those 10-plus points. 9th team in NBA history to have that happen. Luke Cornett, sir, you are one of the best supplemental big men to come off of the bench in the NBA right now. The fact that you could come into the game, make sure that the Spurs don't lose a lead against a very lethal Thunder team. They last night, the way that the Thunder were playing, there were many, many, many times where you could feel them creeping back into it and suddenly getting the momentum back, especially on their home court. And that chase down block on Hartenstein, my goodness. People are saying that's like blocked by James. It's not. It's not. I'll say that. It's not. But it is up there. It was a fantastic defensive play. He will never have to pay for anything ever again in the city of San Antonio. I can guarantee you that. Dylan Harper is 20 years old. He's from New Jersey, from that New York, New Jersey area, went to Rutgers, has said before that it was his dream, his childhood dream. It is his childhood dream to play in the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden. Dylan Harper, you're getting your wish. And I got to tell you, him tackling Stephon Castle after Caruso's very clear, blatant, flagrant foul on Stephon Castle during that fast break, the fact that Harper tackled him and kept him on the ground to make sure that he didn't pick up a technical for getting back in Caruso's face. Fantastic job. High basketball IQ. And that's the thing. The Spurs have a very young core, and that young core carries themselves like true professionals. And they act like they've been there before, even though they haven't. And it's because of the veteran presence and leadership that's on the team. Cornette has done it before with the Celtics. Harrison Barnes has done it before with the Warriors. Having those 2 guys in the locker room has definitely helped. On top of that, you have Greg Popovich still in the building. Although he's not coaching, he's still in the building. And because he's still in the building, you have Spurs alumni like Tim Duncan in the building constantly, helping out with this next generation of Spurs stars, being Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper. These guys carry themselves like vets. And they're all in their mid to low 20s. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. Wemby's the youngest player in history to lead his team in points per game and rebounds per game going into the NBA Finals, entering the NBA Finals. Youngest player in history to lead his team in both of those statistical categories, entering the NBA Finals. He averaged 20 points and at least one block. 20 plus points and at least one block in every single game of the Western Conference Finals. Guy's a freak. 7'6" alien with the handles of Jamal Crawford, the presence down low of Kevin Garnett, two guys that he's trained with. On top of that, he's a Shaolin monk. It's absolutely astonishing to witness. We're witnessing the rise of a possible GOAT in this game, the next generation's GOAT. Witnessing that rise in real time. Now a little fun stat for you. NBA players are 8-0 when playing in Game 7s on their birthday. Last night, Harrison Barnes turned 34. And in 2016, he played against the Thunder in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals when he was on the Warriors. So not only is he 2-0 in his birthday in a Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals, both games were against the Thunder. Harrison Barnes is the ultimate equalizer when it comes to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Defensively, the Spurs, they swarmed last night. They played their brand of defense. They overwhelmed their opponents. Constant switches helped defense, forcing the ball handler, to go baseline. Got to go near Wemby. And it's all a part of that system. It forces turnovers. It forces quick decisions, and sometimes those quick decisions can mean bad decisions for the opponents. That defense around the perimeter, too. They have a bunch of big, athletic two-way guards. They complement Wemby's game and the overall scheme for the Spurs perfectly. Vassell, Johnson, Bryant, Harper, and of course Castle. And De'Aaron Fox has been running the point very, very well. This Spurs team is legit. There's a solid chance that they win this NBA Finals. They are currently the opening favorites to get into the NBA Finals, which I might as well just get into that as of right now. Let's do it. Opening lines for the NBA Finals. Here we go. Overall, to win, the Spurs are favored, -205 to win the Larry O'Brien. Knicks are at +170 currently. MVP odds. Wemby is the leader currently, -185. Followed up by JB, Jalen Brunson at +210. And then Cat rounding out the top three at +1,800. Big gap there between the two stars of their respective teams and then Karl Anthony Towns. The Game 1 opening money line and spread. First off, the spread is 4.5 up and down. +4.5 for the Knicks, -4.5 for the Spurs, and that just tells you right there the Spurs are favored. They're at -198. Knicks are at +164 as of right now for the Game 1 opening money lines. Those are all the lines that I have for you as of right now. I'll get more, as you could see, full NBA Finals preview coming on Tuesday. But before we wrap up the show, we got to talk about one last thing. All right, last thing here on the docket for today. Tomorrow is June 1st. It marks the first day in the NFL calendar where teams are allowed to start trading players. So, of course, all eyes are on the Philadelphia Eagles and A.J. Brown. And not just because of the whole Rossini-Vrabel situation and how that all came to be, and not only just because of the fact Jalen Hurts no-showed at A.J. Brown's wedding. Maybe it's the fact that A.J. Brown deactivated his Twitter account recently, and when I say recently, I mean just a couple hours ago. He's expected to reunite with Mike Vrabel in New England and be the instant wide receiver 1 for the New England Patriots. Now, if this does go down tomorrow, this is the hottest story in the NFL. This might be the hottest story in sports if this goes down tomorrow, because it's a matter of what are you willing to give up for A.J. Brown? This team, the Patriots, they were just in the Super Bowl a year ago. Now, I know there's the whole Drake May shoulder thing, and when I say a year ago, I mean last year. Last NFL season. Last NFL season. In reality, it was 4 months ago. But let's take it back to that time. Drake May had his shoulder injury. Will Campbell was the worst left tackle in the league. They did not necessarily have a wide receiver 1. You could say Stephon Diggs was, but Drake May spread that ball around pretty evenly. A.J. Brown goes in there. He is the clear wide receiver 1 in that wide receiver room. He's the clear WR1. What are you willing to give up for him? That's the question. Or at this point, what is Howie trying to get in return? Howie Roseman is the Sam Presti of the NFL. Guy's a genius. Absolute genius. Mastered the art of fleecing, some might say. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this situation. All eyes are on A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles and what they're going to do with him starting tomorrow. Okay, so that wraps up the show for today. I want to say thank you to everybody for tuning on in. Make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on those push notifications if you are enjoying this content. Full NBA Finals preview coming out on Tuesday. No content coming out tomorrow unless it is a clip from this episode today. So make sure to go follow my Instagram and TikTok. That is going to be, just look up Josh Barbara. If you want the actual username, Josh_Barbara72 on Instagram. That's the main one to follow. The TikTok, just search up my name. It should come up. Thank you guys for watching, and that has been the Barbs Breakdown for today. My name is Josh Barbara, signing off. We'll see you next time.